Ahoy! The PTR got some very important changes today, and those also affect what will happen on the live client. We have more changes that have been announced too, so there is going to be quite a significant shuffle from what we're seeing at the moment, which is good, because there were some issues that I definitely had a gripe with. We're starting with some quick testing changes that are very important. You actually have all the artifacts unlocked on a new backstory on the PTR now, and you will be able to test that right away. You have all the trade skills maxed. All the stuff that we really needed day one is finally unlocked. And Savage Divide mutations are also enabled, so we can try those out and not just the story mode. Additionally, the Regeneration Serum was disabled on the PTR. This was an extremely strong potion. I think Wells was the first one to showcase this. It just gave you an insane amount of regeneration all the time. And yeah, they're saying that they need to actually accurately test the changes on PTR, and this potion is not allowing them to, because everyone is just healing for way too much. So I'm expecting at least a nerf to this, or a removal. I'm hoping for removal. I think whenever they do anything with potions, it doesn't go well, but maybe otherwise it may just be a nerf. Beyond that, Chartis told us some more about their plans. So first, somebody asked, artifacts should drop above level 100 of the PvP track, right? Because that's what it sounded like in the patch notes. And Chartis said, no, that's not the goal. So it seems like you will be able to get artifacts on earlier levels of the PvP track as well, which I think is a relief for some people, because it would be one of the grindiest artifacts to get otherwise if you are a player that stopped playing before the PvP tracks were introduced, because you don't retroactively get any PvP XP for anything you did before that, which I still find very frustrating. A very big concern that I personally had was the artifacts that are locked behind the Season Pass, because I thought they might disappear in the next season and they might not be obtainable for players after that. Chartis said the artifacts on the Season Pass will be made available in locations in the world after the season ends. This I feel like was a change based on the feedback that they got on this. One of the rewards was literally Season Track 100, so I feel like this was something that they thought would be a good season reward, but now realized, yeah, maybe not a good idea for balance, so this is going to be available in the world locations. I feel like that makes the Season Pass track a little bit less valuable, but it's also fine with me, like I don't really care. It's much better this way than the other way around, with them being gone after the season for new players. One of the effects, Magnify, amplifies your highest attribute, and this leads to some complications because there are many gear pieces that can have Magnify, which can kind of mess up things if you're trying to max out one point and then it bounces back and forth in the wrong way, and they are working on changes to that. So Charles said, we have improvements to the Magnify attribute experience coming soon, namely that attribute allocation will be shown before the attribute confirmation is clicked, so you can dynamically see how attributes will be allocated as you spend your points. Further, Magnify also has some usability adjustments coming after the PTR. It's also been confirmed that OPR crates that drop after the update, not the current ones, will be able to drop 700 gear score items. You can get them from OPR. Runestone Stopwatches were a hot concern for many crafters, understandably so. They take quite a lot of time to make, and they didn't really have any purpose in the expansion so far. Chartis said there will be a salvage option added to stopwatches, but they're not going to tell us all the secrets just yet. They're not going to tell us what they are going to turn into. I have a feeling they might help with crafting the new resources that you can use to modify legendaries. That would make a lot of sense to me in terms of how they're generally used. Otherwise, maybe something stonecutting related, one of the new many blocks or the lower resources that lead to the blocks, because you're going to need a lot of those anyways. On a side note, you know what I said about the difficulty of Savage Divide? I've played M2 today, and yeah, I can see where the journalists were coming from now. We'll talk about that another time, but it's definitely spicy. If you want to see that and more about the expansion, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you get notified when those videos come out. If you'd like to support me further and get early trading tips for the expansion return, then consider doing so on Patreon. Thanks to all my patrons who already do exactly that. List will be updated after PDR as well. Thanks for watching. SLOTH out.